The year is 2024, and we've decided to give each other a little bit of a challenge. So we're going to give each other the title of a movie that we want the other one to pitch and see what they can come up with. Cue the intro.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Mirror Movie Universe podcast. My name is Nate, and I'm one half of the hosting team of the Shindig of a Show. Across the aisle and across the country from me is Dan, my older brother. Say hi, Dan.
Hey, I am so excited for this. So we are brothers. We've done, probably a dozen pitches or so far, and it's always great to see what the other one comes up with. And usually we do it as part of a big franchise or something, so there are some constraints, but we thought it would be fun to do a little something a little different here, which I'm very excited about. Nate, how
I'm
do you
nervous
feel
as
about
hell.
it?
I'm nervous as hell. Because the idea here, ladies and gents, is that we're going to give each other titles and maybe some constraints, but no real detail about the film that we have to pitch. We're going to take a week, come back here, and then pitch
It'll
these
be
movies
mere
to each other.
seconds to you as you watch this episode, but we'll see what we can come up with. So,
Okay, Dan, lay it on me. What
okay,
am I gonna have to pitch? I'm gonna write this down as we go.
okay. Your title for the
Oh
movie
God.
that I want you to pitch
Yeah.
is Ticket to Ride,
Oh.
colon, in space. Two is the number two. Yes, I'm having you pitch a sequel to a movie that doesn't exist. But I'm not cruel and heartless. I'll give you the ending scene of Ticket
Okay.
to Ride.
I will take the ending scene of Ticket to Ride
Ending scene of
in
Ticket to
space.
Ride.
Yeah.
So it's based on the classic board game, and so you've got all these characters, like the five different characters from that board game, and they're racing to the finish line where you have this sort of Willy Wonka-esque character making them go on this escapade, played by Bill Murray, and they're all rushing
You're
toward
throwing me
there.
a lot of bones, man. This is good. This is good. I can work with this.
They're all rushing there, and
Okay.
Emma Watson, her character, is the winner, and so she like gets there and she's like, "Oh, what have I won?" And Bill Murray is like, "Oh, you've won a ticket to space." Cut to black, and
That's the
that's how
ending scene of the first movie?
that's the ending scene of the first one. It's
Okay.
clearly setting up the sequel for you to pitch, and
Okay.
I'm so excited to see what you come up with.
Okay. I
You can keep those actors. You can recast it. Maybe the first one was a flop, and this is like straight to
I
DVD.
think the first one will have smashed some box office records, and we definitely have the budget for Bill Murray and Emma Watson again. So I'm gonna work with that. Damn it. Okay. All right.
I'm so
I can
excited for this.
I can work with that.
And
I can
now
work
I'm
with that.
very nervous. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you have for me, good sir?
Mine's related to a franchise, but not a big franchise. It's a franchise that you and I know very well, but not a franchise that everyone else knows very well, or at least in the form that we know it. That makes almost no sense until you realize what it is. A pop quiz, Dan. What do you think were the 5 most formative years in classic rock history? Mr. Beatles poster behind you back there.
5 years, most formative
Yeah,
years?
a 5-year window.
Oh,
Dan.
gosh, I don't know, like 70 to 75?
70 75 is good, right? But you miss the end of the Beatles, you miss Cream, you miss Hendrix,
Sure.
and you miss some of the Who's stuff. You get a lot of good Led Zeppelin in there. But here's I think that it's 1968 to 1973,
All right.
because you got Cream doing Disraeli Gears, you got the Beatles starting at the White Album and then going through the other end of their run. You get all 4 of Led Zeppelin's numbered albums. You get Dark Side of the Moon, Metal by Pink Floyd, and a number of other lovely creations. L.A. Women by the Doors. Great stuff. You also get all 5 films in a film franchise that you and I were a little bit obsessed with as kids, called Planet of the Apes.
Oh, no.
So I am going to give you a pitch title
Uh-huh.
called Houses of the Holy of the Planet of the Apes, in which you have to pitch a Planet of the Apes film. It can be related to the first 5, but it should be made in like 73-ish.
Uh-huh.
You must feature at least 3 classic rock songs. in this film, which is set in an alternate future where apes take over the planet and no classic rock people like have survived. Like the Statue of Liberty is nuked into the sand. Good luck. I already know what classic rock tunes I would include in this Planet of the Apes extravaganza, but you're gonna have to figure that out. Houses of the Holy of the Planet of the Apes,
Houses
mostly
of the
because
Holy of the
of the
Planet of
Planet
the
of the
Apes.
Apes, because that's the album that Led Zeppelin released in '73. I will tell you, I already know what songs that I would include in mine, and we'll talk about that when we actually get to your pitch. But good luck.
I
You
love
gave
it.
me you gave me Ticket to Ride in Space. You're getting off easy.
I think that this is, yeah, I'm super stoked for it. Like, I can already see how it plays into the Planet of the Apes universe at large, and I can tell you right now that rock and roll is gonna save the universe.
Oh, you're going to use it as a plot device, not just
Oh yeah, 1,000%. The whole movie's gonna revolve around it. This is gonna be great.
good luck. I just wanted a repeat of many of the Planet of the Apes titles are it's like something of the blank of the blank, and
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
wanted to do a longer version of that. And I was like, what could I cross over with? And then I was listening to Led Zeppelin. I was like, Houses of the Holy of the Planet of the Apes. Let's go. And he's got to use rock songs. Good luck. Make it intriguing. Make it fun. So yeah,
Oh, it's gonna be incredible.
all right.
I am so excited.
Good luck. All right. You're going to see us next week in 3, 2, 1. Holy crap, that was kind of a week. I had no idea what to do with this. That's quite the pitch you got there. I've been mulling about it for the last 7 days. I think I got something. Maybe,
Oh,
maybe.
I am so excited to hear what you're gonna do with this. So,
Weird, strange premise. Ticket to Ride 2. The second being the second book of the part of the Ticket to Rides. Trains in Space. Is that what we said? Trains in Space?
in space, yeah, Ticket to Ride, colon,
Right.
in space.
And if I'm remembering correctly, Bill Murray like was some kind of Willy Wonka character and gave Emma Watson, was Emma Watson,
Mhm.
a like prize for winning the challenge or something at the end of the first movie, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna say that, see, I'm taking some creative liberties here. I'm gonna say that previous film was in the early 1900s. So as the Ticket to Ride board game is, it's old timey 1900s kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So we get a scene with the two of them to open up the movie, to breathe a little bit, where Emma Watson gets, and like she wins like an apprenticeship at his like big railroad company called Days of Wonder or something like that, which is the publisher of the board game Ticket to Ride. I hope I got that right. Otherwise, I just look like an idiot on the internet. So she shows up. She faces some uncertainty in the workplace. It's the early 1900s. She's a woman, like, and all of the men that surround her are not like super supportive of her. But Bill Murray kind of takes her under his wing. It's kind of like passing the torch a little bit. Turns out that he is actually dying. He's this kind old man, and Emma Watson kind of has to find her own confidence and find her own way, and they are kind of talking through this. So in the first movie, right? In the first movie, she is like one away from the end of completing this train track or something in the train contest or whatever. Train is a big part of the culture in the United States, train, like, railroad stuff, in this little universe of a film, right? So she's one away from winning, and she can't get the train onto the track or something. And because she has the dream or something, it turns into a rainbow train and it fills the space. Because if you play Ticket to Ride, you play different trains of different colors down, and you have to have the match unless there's a rainbow train, or a trainbow, as those of us in our family call them. They're called trainbows. So he wants her to replicate the trainbow magic that she used at the end of the first movie. It's not something that she planned on. It was kind of spontaneous. She's worried that she can't do it again, and he's kind of coaching her through. And then we get a little like, you can do it kind of thing. Camera pans out through the window of this 1900s factory, and we get a very classic film edited fast forward through the 20th century. So very much like actual history, except everything is just trains, because in this world, it's the thing there is, right? So there's newspaper headlines. Oh, Wright brothers fail to fly. Train still preferred mode of transport. And like it's scenes of Beatlemania, but they're getting off of trains instead of off of planes. And this historical documentary footage. There's a Meredith Vieira on Good Morning America is interviewing Thomas the Tank Engine, and it's like it's the whole world. And the space race stalls because we don't have this like rainbow train magic that will make trains fly or do something magic or whatever. And we're trying to get to the moon. Except this is present day. The original space race didn't happen because we haven't flown yet. It's all just trains. Trains can't fly unless you have the trainbow magic. So there's a private super uber rich company in the modern day that announces that they've cracked trainbow technology or might have a way to do it. And we meet a new character played by Lily James, who was in the movie Baby Driver and one of the Disney princess remakes, has a somewhat resemblance to Emma Watson, a little bit. And there's this contest that's announced for an apprenticeship at this company, which has the same name as Bill Murray's The Oldie Company, for those who prove themselves so that they can be worthy to use the trainbow magic stuff to go to space. This is a children's film, right? I'm making a children's film. So there's a cast of characters that are somewhat quirky in different ways. Lily James like dreamed of being a train conductor since she was a little kid, and she's got like very scrappy knowledge. There's probably like a super nerd who knows all the stuff about trains. There's probably like a super rich like kid from a company that makes like bullet trains that his parents inherited or something. I don't know. And they go through all of these like different challenges. Very Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There will probably be 5 of them, and 4 of them will probably get defeated by their own hubris. So the cast of characters competes against each other, and our hero has to complete a series of challenges that are probably based on the game. So like, oh, you have to make the longest train on this thing, because that's the thing you have to do in the game, or you have to make the most connections of this thing, that's the thing you have to do in the game. So it turns out that her grandfather or great grandfather is Bill Murray's character, not Emma Watson. Although there is a resemblance, there is no familial relation. And we get a series of flashbacks throughout the movie between Lily James in modern times doing the competing in challenges, and they're getting eliminated one by one, and flashbacks to the past where Emma Watson is kind of struggling to crack this rainbow train magic or whatever, and Bill Murray his character is dying, and he's trying to give her confidence and all this kind of stuff. They're not sure if they can recreate the rainbow magic stuff for trains. They decided to hide away everything they have about it in a box that can only be opened by someone who's worthy. And I guess that's what the big company is doing. So Lily James gets to the final challenge and meets the owner of the company, who happens to be, we see like an old portrait or something on the wall, the grandson of Emma Watson's character. I think it would be funny if he's played by Weird Al, and if he's played by Weird Al Yankovic. And he only cares about money. He's running this company because Emma Watson inherited it, and she's very passionate about trains. That was probably a thing in the first movie. He only cares about money, and he's very embittered. And he explains in his very Weird Al kind of voice that his father was killed. His father, influenced him to get into the train business, but his father was killed because he was one person stuck on some train tracks, and there were 5 people on the other set of tracks, and someone had to switch a trolley to only get his dad and not run over the other 5 people. That's right. His father was killed by the trolley problem, and it has embittered him to trains and all of this kind of stuff. Lily James's character probably wins over Weird Al's character with some kind of speech, or maybe a letter that Emma Watson's character writes. Will have voiceover of Emma Watson writing it, and, interspersed with Lily James reading it or something, telling him that he should always believe in himself no matter what happens. And he opens the box, and because it was him who was worthy all along, not these people competing, and he and Lily James turn a train into a trainbow thing and they fly to the moon or something. And then the opening, sorry, the closing credits I want to be a Weird Al parody song of The Clash's Train in Vain, which is a classic punk song, a punk song from the 70s of early British invasion punk. And that's how I would want that film to end. Thoughts, good sir? Could use some restructuring. You know what I've done? You know what I've done? I wanted to do this thing in the past and the future of like these two, very similar characters doing similar things and facing similar hardship, one in the early 1900s and one in more or less present day. You know what I've done?
You've
I've
done
taken
Julia and Julia.
Actually, I was thinking Godfather Part 2. I took
Oh.
Godfather Part 2 and turned it into a children's film because you got Robert De Niro playing Vito Corleone in the early 1900s and Al
Yeah.
Pacino playing Michael Corleone in the 60s. Except there's trains and it's for kids and Weird Al's there. So yeah, there you go. That's Ticket to Ride Trains in Space. I don't spend any time in space.
You don't spend any time
end.
in space.
No.
You're the space guy. And I was like, give me a movie with Ticket to Ride in Space. And you're like, I'm not going to do that at all.
Nope. It's a movie about finding your own confidence and believing in yourself and not giving up after your father is killed by a philosophical question. Because the trolley, I went into this being like, all right, I want Weird Al to be somewhat antagonistic and I want him to be embittered because his father was killed by the trolley problem.
Wow.
And the entire rest of the movie was structured around that. I wanted to make him kind of like an Elon Musk type.
Yeah.
So maybe some of the challenges that they have to finish or whatever along this, like, Willy Wonka kind of thing or space-based or something like that. But it's really about family, Dan. It's really about family.
And you went so serious with it. Like, it's so funny because when I gave you the title, I thought, oh, this would be so great. Like, you could have this insane set pieces with CGI and have trains flying through space to get to these other planets. You could have aliens. You could do all sorts of crazy stuff. And you could have it be set in the 1900s on Earth, but Bill Murray is actually an alien. Like, I had all these thoughts in my head, and you were just like, let me make it a serious family drama about finding yourself.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And also make it Godfather Part 2.
Or Julia and Julia.
Yeah. But there you go. That's Ticket to Ride Trains in Space. I even picked out a song. I even picked out a song for the end credits. And I don't know how familiar you are with The Clash, but I think it was a pretty good song. So
I love how in your pitch you're like, and I'm gonna get the performer Weird Al to do a parody song for our movie. And this is what he's gonna do.
The man is retired, so
yeah,
it would be tough to get him to do it now, but I think it will work out. Speaking of picking songs, though, I asked you to create. Yeah. So we both love the Planet of the Apes franchise. We watched it as kids, like all of the originals. We're not talking about the new ones, the originals. And I just wanted to use the words "of the" as many times as possible in my little title to give you. So I gave you Houses of the Holy of the Planet of the Apes and stipulated that you had to put 3 classic rock songs in there. Have fun.
Yeah, this well, I'll just pitch it and then I'll talk about it afterward with you. So it's 1976, I've decided. The last Planet of the Apes movie came out in 73. That gets us a little bit of time here, so 76, right? So we open with the apes having a good time. The chimpanzees, the orangutans, the apes, they're all just like doing their thing, whatever. And then all of a sudden, one of this spaceship like comes down, very bad special effects. We don't have a lot of money. And it lands.
That's par for the course for these movies, yeah.
Yeah, and well, the first one was pretty good, but anyway, it's like this is the 6th one now. We don't have money. But anyway, it's like very Buck Rogers and it kind of shaking or whatever, and it lands in their midst, and out steps our protagonist, Ringo Starr.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Because at this point, he's trying to get into
like he's being a serious actor. Like he's trying to. I don't have a character name. I just call him Ringo Starr throughout all of this.
I didn't have character names for any of mine, so yeah.
And he comes out and he's like, "Peace and love," and then he sings "A Dose of Rock and Roll" off his 1976 album Ringo Rotogravure. Is it a good song? Nah. But he's trying to promote his new album, and that was his stipulation for being in the film. So that's one of the songs.
So he's going to play that one? Okay.
Yeah, just that one. So the chimps and orangutans and everybody, they all freak out, right? And they're like, whoa, this human is talking. Like, what is happening? Humans are supposed to be mute. Humans are kind of like mesmerized by the music. You get the humans coming out in their little like slave things, outfits,
Mhm.
and they're like, whoa, this is amazing. And the apes hate it because it kind of drives them crazy. And so all the apes, which are like the big muscly like warrior types, are like holding their ears and stuff. They hate it. So he introduces them or introduces himself to everybody, and then they like really want to kill him, and he implies like, oh, if you kill me, you'll be struck down, and they don't know what to do with that because the ancient scrolls say nothing of this human who
Okay.
can talk, right? So they're very wary. So I want to bring back kind of the classic actors who have played some of the monkey characters before. So Maurice Evans is
Rod,
Dr. Zaius.
Roddy
Roddy McDowell
McDowell.
as
Yeah.
Cornelius, yes, as Cornelius, and Kim Hunter as Zero. So those three are back, and they're all kind of debating how it is possible for a human to speak. Is he from the future? Is he perhaps an alien? So Ringo, all this time, continues to amass followers, and he's got like humans and apes living together, or probably not the apes, but humans and orangutans or chimpanzees or whatever, like living
Mhm.
together. And the humans who see him and listen to the music and stuff kind of start to gain the ability to talk. There's like pretty ladies
Lovely.
all around him and stuff.
Yeah.
So then the Dr. Zaius challenges him with the sacred scrolls, and he says, you know, where are you in here? And so that's when Ringo puts on the classic rock song "God Gave Rock and Roll to You" by Argent. And if you don't
Okay.
know, if you're sitting there, Nate, and you're saying, "What God Gave Rock and Roll to You" was by Kiss from the '90s, well, they covered it. It's by
Really?
Argent originally. If you're saying, "Who the frick is Argent?" You probably know them from their one-hit wonder, "Hold Your Head Up." Whoa, hold your head up. Whoa,
Oh. Oh,
hold your
okay.
head
No, no,
high.
no. Mhm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the second rock song here, 73. So our three Bane monkey characters break into his ship and find information from the previous five films. So we get to put in some clips and some other
Yeah.
stuff from there, really pad in our runtime. We don't have to
Sure.
shoot anything here.
Yeah.
Basically, they know that the world ends. They
Mhm.
know that they go back in time and they make it even worse. That's basically what you have to know from the first five films.
Mhm.
This ship was launched after those events. So those events take us up to like the 90s. So it was launched after those events, but before Charlton Heston shows up. And now they see a tape of a debate between scientists about the best way to change the future, because by changing the future, they can change the past, because the monkeys went from the future to the past,
Of
which
course, for
caused an
those
even
for
worse
the
future.
uninitiated, in the third one, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, they go back to
Yes.
1970. It's a wild franchise, which is I was hoping you would have fun with this.
Oh, very
Continue.
much.
Yeah.
So they theorize, these scientists theorize that the best thing to do is to send someone before the events start, where the first astronauts crash land. And so but they think that they have to make a big enough splash, a big enough change to the timeline. So they decide not to send an astronaut or a
This
scientist, but a con man. So they pull Ringo. He's a con man sentenced in prison, and they're hoping that basically he can just make a big enough change in society to change the world.
Mhm.
So, so our main trio aren't really sure what to do with that. Dr. Zaius wants to immediately go after him, imprison him, kill him, but the other two, Cornelius and Zero, aren't so sure. They feel very responsible after seeing the tapes for the part that they play in the destruction of the world. They
Mhm.
feel like it's part of their fault. So Zaius goes off and rallies the apes and uses the sacred scrolls and everything to say that music is evil. Cornelius and Zero warn Ringo and his followers that it's coming, right? So Ringo is like, peace and love to the approaching apes. So Zaius gathers all the apes ready, and we're about to get this big confrontation. Ringo plays Live Wire by Stars. Is
Man,
that a
you
good song? Not really. And who the heck are Stars? Well, you probably know them as the band Looking Glass. They reformed in '76 as this heavy metal kind of rock outfit. Before that, you probably know their one hit wonder song, Brandy. She's a fine girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know Looking Glass,
So
yes.
So anyway, the Livewire is the from Stars is the band that it became,
Yeah.
and which is like a very heavy metal kind of rock song. And we get this big fight between the humans and the apes. But again, the music drives the apes crazy. So Dr. Zaius is killed, and Ringo is killed as well. And basically, he dies in Zero's arms, and he's like, "I hope I made a difference," right? So
Yeah.
Zero and Cornelius take over as the leaders of society. And then we see 1 year later, and we take footage from the very first film here of Charlton Heston, like musing and wondering as he's flying
There
and
has to be something out there better than man. There has to
yeah,
be.
and he's
Yeah.
like chomping on a cigar, right? What is it
Yeah.
gonna be like? And then you see like their ship land, and you see a bunch of people waiting on the shore there, and it's Cornelius and Zira with humans side by
Mhm.
side, waiting to welcome these astronauts.
Oh, so you kill the time paradox with this.
Yeah, Ringo
Interesting.
succeeds. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. I've got two things for you.
Hmm.
One, I like that it's a con man and not just a musician, because when you were like, oh, they decided not to send an astronaut, they want to make a big splash. I'm like, okay, so you have them send like Ringo Starr to like win the people over with music.
Oh,
That's
that would have been so much better. He could have just been himself. He's still around. Yeah.
yeah, it's all right. I think yeah, or because the ships carry four people, you could have had them send the Beatles and the other three die
Yes.
off screen,
I
and
love
then
that.
Ringo is the only one left.
That's
But
so much better.
yeah. And then this also becomes like the fourth or fifth like Beatles movie. Even though it's not, you know. So like structurally, yeah, you could have done that different, but I still like the paradox thing. I'm intrigued by your song choice. Are you picking, because frankly, you're picking some like C tier stuff.
Oh,
Um,
D tier. Yeah.
yeah.
I knew that
Are
you
you doing
wanted me
that
to pick.
because
I knew that you wanted me to pick like the best three rock songs from the 70s. But I had to think like this is the sixth film in the franchise. We literally have no money. You
yeah,
also
in the
called it
fifth
Houses
movie,
of the Holy, and Led Zeppelin never lets their music be used in film. So I was
no,
just like,
they wouldn't. You'd have to make some big assumptions there, because like
yeah,
I don't think a Led Zeppelin song appeared in a movie until School of Rock
yeah.
in 2003. Although, you know, Battle of Evermore, which is like a big war cry song, you could have the Apes sing that if Led Zeppelin, you know, was allowed to do it. And the movie with Eclipse by Pink Floyd, you could do like have a human sing Behind Blue Eyes by The Who is like a lament that like they're not understood by the apes. You could take the best of the best, and you picked Argent and Looking Glass. That's you did that like, you know, oh yeah, sure, budget. You did that just to piss me off. That's what you did.
I
That's
did. I did. I was like, I'm gonna find some one-hit wonders. Let's do it. Let's do it. I was like, I'm not playing your game.
well, I didn't take the trains to space, so I consider that even then.
Yeah.
But wow, okay, that smashed my expectations.
What three songs did you have in mind? Because you said in the
No,
initial thing, like,
Battle of
I'll tell you
Evermore,
what songs they
Eclipse,
should be.
Battle of Evermore, Eclipse, and Behind Blue Eyes. Maybe something, maybe like Immigrant Song or Misty Mountain Hop. Like, there's a lot of Zeppelin that works. Eclipse is a really good ender. It's the last track from Dark Side, and it's kind of ethereal, and it's also the perfect like. I mean, I think Dark Side was 73, and that's when these movies are coming out. And Behind Blue Eyes by The Who plays so well with like the humans being, you know,
Misunderstood. Yeah.
yeah. So those were mine. They're huge and massive hits, and you would have to basically take the budget of Planet of the Apes 2 through 5,
Hmm.
and just to pay for those songs,
Just to pay for the rights. Yeah.
just to pay for the rights, and it wouldn't work. But you know, in Magic Pitchland, we can do that. Yeah,
Well,
just get rid of
also, I'm a dad now, and so the music that I listen to is Miss Rachel and the Wiggles and Casper Baby Pants. Like, I haven't listened to like hard rock from the 70s in so
I
long.
I still do all the time. I'm getting into a harder punk phase right now because I am not in your situation, good sir.
Hmm.
So I fully expected you to to embrace this, and you were like, that's nice. How about this instead? Which is exactly what I did with the train. So again, we're even, but
Mhm.
all the same. If you want to see us do this again, internet, tell us, because this was fun to put together. To be perfectly honest, I had no idea what I was supposed to come up with, and I did good. I don't know if Dan did. I did good. No, you did great. I'm just kidding. Oh man.
Oh, thank you. I had so much fun with this. Like, this was genuinely the most fun that I've had coming up with a pitch because it's so crazy and so out there. So, yeah, if you want to see us do this again, please tell us. Give us suggestions. Put movie title suggestions down below,
Yeah.
and we will like draw them out of a hat and we'll do
Yeah.
this again.
I would
Absolutely.
love to draw your movie suggestions out of a hat. Because we can pitch anything. We can pitch anything, Dan. Like,
Absolutely. All you have to know is that Weird Al will be in Nate's somewhere.
yeah, yeah. Play that intentionally. Make Pitch me a movie title that I couldn't possibly put Weird Al into. Um, I'll do it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Put the comments below of crazy movie titles. Like it if you like it. Subscribe so that you can see that when it comes out. And we really hope that this finds you well. You know, we know that this is nothing more than just escapism to a movie that will never ever be made. But
Mhm.
thank you for spending some time with us. We always appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good one.
See you, everybody.